Okay, today we're going to talk about the Blob tool. It is one of my favorite tools in Illustrator. You can access it if we look over here. We've got the paintbrush tool. If we click and hold, we can get the Blob brush tool. You can also hit Shift B to access it. One of the things that I like to do, and it's not necessary, but it works for me, is I have my artwork on one layer. Now, this artwork can't have any white filler, so it has to be just black lines. If it has white in it, what you're going to do doesn't show, so if you have any background with white, it's a good idea to get rid of that first. We've got one layer here, so I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to drag it below layer 1, so I've got layer 1, then layer 2. I'm going to go ahead and lock my artwork layer so that I can't edit it accidentally. And using the Blob brush tool, I've got the ability to size and resize using my bracket keys, and the bracket keys are just to the right of the P key, so I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller. I'm going to put on my base coat, which in this case happens to be red, so I want to change my stroke to red. So a nice good red for Spider-Man. And I'm just going to start painting. Now when I paint and let up, the black will show through. So as you paint, you just go along your outlines. Try to keep it in the lines. But if you happen to mess up, I'll show you a good way to fix that later. We'll just go down, get down here, go a little faster. But as we're going up the big thing, we want to keep our time. Now, the nice thing about this, it has now created one object. Okay? The difference between that and the regular paintbrush tools, the paintbrush tool will create a line. Then a paint again, it will create another line. So now I have two lines. They're not merged, they're not together, they're not anything. The Blob brush tool, notice that I have this already one big blob, but let's say that I want to add to it, so I grab my Blob brush tool again, and I just paint. I don't have to do anything, get my size up, and I can just start painting again. And if I look, and I click on it, it's added that. It is still one object, and that is incredible. So I'm going to get my brush back up to the size I was working on it. Go ahead and fill in all my white areas. Get my Spider-Man nice and red, because everybody likes a nice red Spider-Man. Ooh, I went out of bounds up there. I'll have to fix that in just a second. Come here, boom, come across, come back up. Go ahead and fill it all in. Get it nice and full. Alright, so now we have Spider-Man. Well, because it's an object, it works just like any other object would work. It's got handles, and it's got points, anchor points with the handles on them. So I can actually just grab the anchor points and move in, or grab a handle and pull it down. And this way I can go around here and clean up any extra paint that I've gotten outside the edges. It's just quick, easy, fast. I can say I don't like the way this is shaped. I could reshape it a little bit, bring it in, maybe get rid of this point, having it be a point so much by adjusting my handles. So I can get a nice little effect, and I've got my nice Spider-Man stuff. Well, now that I've got my base coat down, I can go ahead and add the white of the eyes. So I change my stroke to white, grab my Blob brush tool, and just go over the eyes. And I'm going to shrink it down so I don't get outside the line. I did there. I'm going to undo that, because if you notice it right away, it's easier just to undo and just go back and fix. There we go. Come down. We've got one eyeball. Let's go over here and get this other one. And there you go. Of course, down here, get a little. And you can go in and clean up anything that you see. There. Now we got a nicely drawn Spider-Man. But as anything else, wait, there's more. I did forget this little area down here I need to clean up. So again, I click on it, use my direct selection tool, grab my points, pull them in, nice and clean. It's a happy little tree. Okay. So now we've got Spider-Man. There are a lot of things that we can do with this because it's a one object. One of the things that you can add to an object is, of course, a stroke. So if I pick the same color for my stroke and I apply a nice thick stroke to it, it's going to just blow it out from there. But the cool thing is, if I go over here to my brushes and I go down to Open Brush Library and I go down maybe to Artistic and Paintbrush, I've got all these options to play with. So if we look, it's giving me some cool looking little textures that I can bring down and apply like this, and see how I got that nice little texture? Well, maybe I can use my Blob brush tool and throw in a little bit of lighter red behind that, or orange, as the case may be, and I can bring it around through here and in behind that. And because it's an object, it works like every other object does, and I can send it to the back. And now I have this neat little highlight that, of course, I can continue to edit with. Grabbing my Open Face tool, I can go in here and I can move it around as needed, pull it in, whatever is required. And I have this neat little effect here. So see, I've got some little areas of lighter coloring, but it's got that, it doesn't really look like a solid line because I've used that one tool. And I can change the stroke. Maybe I prefer it to be something a little bit more, I don't know, dynamic or different, or dry brush. So I can mess around with the settings to kind of get the looks that I want. I use this in a logo for butterfly therapy. If you look here, it gives it a nice painted stroke look, and it gives it some nice features. Okay, that is the Blob brush tool. Again, it is located under the paintbrush tool, Blob brush tool, or Shift B.